Andy Cook, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. How would you assess the campaign for your team so far?
Yeah, it's been a good season. We're really pleased with where we are. We had a bit of a bump in the road when we played Wolves, but overall the run we've been on currently, 7 games undefeated, and the way that we're playing, the way the players are performing has been really good. So yeah, we're delighted with the way things are going, and you know, you've got to make sure that you're in and around things in the league, and a good cup run can help that, and that's what we're on at the moment.
You are going well in the league, as you said, and still in all of the cup competitions. How easy is it, or how hard is it to sort of keep everybody happy and give everybody sort of like the time that they deserve?
It's easy when you win, but it's hard every week in terms of trying to explain to players why you need to leave them out, why a certain player we want to see a certain player do this or that or whatever it might be. But yeah, that's the toughest part of any sport, that you have to pick a team that goes out and plays. But that for me is the hardest part of dealing with this group, just because they're all such good people and such good players. And this season the squad's as good as it probably has been in my 3.5 years since I started. And we just need to make sure that each week everyone knows and is motivated to work as well as they can. And that's what they do. That's what they do every week.
You've been here 3.5 years now. How would you assess the progress you've made since you started?
Yeah, it's been one of slow and steady. Obviously, the pandemic, completely ground things to a halt. But in that time, we had an opportunity to move things forward slowly and steadily. We lost our GM, Lee Billiard, who went to Bristol and is now at Aston Villa. But myself and Steve Gray made sure that the club was in a good place. We had great support from John Taylor and David Cook throughout that time. And I think that's probably the main positive that I've seen coming into the club is the support that we get, from everyone in the football club. That anything that we kind of want to try and improve and we want to try and get better at, the club look into it and look where we can progress, and that's something that I'm probably most proud of. The club or the team that I came into in 2019 is completely different to where it is now, and that's due to the environment, the culture that is created here at Nottingham Forest, not just the one that we have within our team, but across the club. And to be a part of that is something that I'm really proud of, and I know the players that come into the club have spoke highly of it. A few of the girls that we brought in this summer that have come in from Championship or WSL clubs have mentioned the professionalism that we have here at Forest and the way that we run things, the environment that we provide, the analysis, the health and well-being apps that we have, and everything that we have, and obviously the coaching helps as well. But yeah, it's the environment, the culture that we've created over the 3.5 years I've been here is something I'm most proud of, and hopefully that something that we'll continue to build on and going into next season. We'll make sure that's we're striving to get better and better each season.
And an FA Cup fixture to look forward to on Sunday. A win would see us into the 3rd round. What are your thoughts ahead of that one?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fixture. I think that the prize money that is on offer now for clubs is something that the lower league teams really look to, because the increase in budget for them is huge, and it's close to when a non-league men's side gets into the later rounds of the FA Cup, and it's no different here. So we're expecting a really tough fixture this weekend, but one way we can get back into things. We had a weekend off last week, so we're raring to go. We've had 2 weeks of training, and so the players just want to get onto the pitch. So that's going to be the tough one for me this weekend in picking the right squad, getting the right players in the right positions, and knowing that we've got a couple of weeks of FA Cup and then League Cup ties before we're back into league action just before Christmas. So yeah, we're really excited for it, and we want to do as best we can to make sure we progress in the FA Cup.
And we've been working together now for just over 2 years. To look back on that time and to see the team behind the team really develop as it has, that must really help you sort of be able to concentrate on your job day in, day out, and get the best out of the players.
Yeah, absolutely. From where the club was when I joined in 2019 to where it is now, I think the staff's probably increased by 50% across the whole football club. You guys in the media team is fantastic to work with every day, and the marketing, the hospitality, commercial, everyone that works at the football club's brilliant to work with. Obviously, we've got our staff as well on the women's side, Marcus and all the staff that works with us, Paulina, Dan, Ando, Amy, and Chloe now as our general manager. It's fantastic that we've got our own little sort of team behind the team, as you say, and yourselves and everybody else. But for me, the most, I suppose, inspiring thing is when you come in and everyone loves working for Nottingham Forest, and everyone wants the best for Nottingham Forest Football Club, whether it be, you know, Steve and the men, or whether it be the academy, you know, when we're down here and training here, or when we're at the City Ground working with you guys. Everybody wants to push Nottingham Forest on to be the best it can be, and something that we're constantly trying to do and strive to do in the women's side. So it's a fantastic place to work, and something that, you know, we're continually wanting to get better every week, every month, and every season.
When you look at your performances so far this season, you've flicked between a few different formations. How important is that flexibility to have between now and the end of the season?
It's something that I've wanted to do since I joined. You know, when I first started, it was a really solid 4-2-3-1 with two holding midfielders, and then the change of personnel allows you to change formation. So just after sort of COVID and the pandemic, when we came back, we went to a back three with a couple of players that we had. We had a girl, Lucy Johnson, who went to America, who was an outside centre half or a left wing back, and it allowed us to play with a back three. We've switched this season between a back three and a back four, and again, that's the personnel. Charlotte Steggles has been fantastic. Naomi Powell, who came in and we were using her as a winger, is now becoming a holding midfielder and been fantastic. But then we've got some really good young players and some players that have stepped up this season. You know, Neve Reynolds and May Moncaster have really stepped on this season and done fantastically for us. You're also looking at Mackenzie Smith, who we brought in from Leicester, who hasn't had as much game time as she probably would have liked, but that's the dual registration with Leicester that sometimes hold us back. And yeah, just the personnel across the team has been fantastic. You know, Charlotte Greengrass moving from a centre half to a centre forward has managed to bag quite a few goals for us this season, and has been a fantastic move. But yeah, right across the team, it's just allowed us to play, and that, yeah, like you say, that transformation over the 4 years has allowed us to have that flexibility. And ultimately, the way football goes these days, and I think the way it's going, I think formations will become a thing of the past, and it'll just be, you have to fill in the spaces to be able to play and move, and that's something that we're constantly striving to try and get. You know, whether it's a 3 or a 4 that starts as the back players, ultimately we want to build out, we want to build in a certain way.
Obviously 7 games unbeaten now, as you mentioned. I guess you'll be wanting to see that consistency spread across the rest of the season now.
Yeah, we've had a great start. We spoke about it just before our break. You know, we've had a good first third of the season. We're going into that middle third of just before Christmas and up until the end of February. And that's something now that we're focusing on, that this is now the maintenance part of the season. We need to make sure that we've got ourselves in a really good position, a game in hand on the league, and we need to just make sure that we're maintaining our consistency. And it's quite a boring answer, but ultimately consistency is key. You know, we can't be too high in our wins, we can't be too low in the losses or the draws. And ultimately, the most consistent team at the end of the season will probably win the league. We want to have a couple of good cup runs. We won the plate last season, and just to get that victory was something that's inspired us to want to go and to do that a little bit more. So yeah, we're in the cup, obviously the FA Cup's currently still, but the league's the most important thing, and as long as we get that consistency in training, we'll continue it, and we'll get that consistency in games. I have no doubt about that.